The collapse of Wirecard in Europe left a lot of consumers stranded, and it reminded me exactly why you can never trust just one bank, never just one fintech, or never just one solution when it comes to your money. I'm going to tell you what happened and what you need to know right now. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson, and here at Nomad Capitalist, we help successful entrepreneurs and investors legally go where they're treated best, lower taxes, incorporating offshore, and living overseas, getting a second passport to enhance your options and your freedoms, and investing in new boom markets. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. But what happened recently with this collapse, the $2 billion collapse of Wirecard in Europe, left a lot of people stranded who didn't expect to be stranded. Now, I saw an article online that talked about all the different companies whose service was affected by Wirecard's collapse. Among them was a fintech called Curve, another called Pocket, one called UAccount, McClearring, and also Crypto.com cards, as well as 10x cards. I had one new client come to us and say, hey, I had money in 10x, converting my crypto into money, fiat money that I could spend at the point of sale, and my card is now shut down. And what was interesting is watching some of these fintechs and watching some of these bank solutions post on social media after Wirecard went down, basically saying, hey, we don't know what to do. Make sure you have another way to pay. Make sure you have an alternative. And so a service like Curve, for example, basically took all of your cards and put them onto one card. You carried this one card around and you paid with it. And now, oops, you can't use it. We hope you have another card. This is what happens, and so it's really important to understand, who is behind your payment solution. I've been talking for a while about how I believe that traditional banks still play a role in anyone's offshore plan. I think they play a role in anyone's plan financially to begin with, but especially if you're living the nomad capitalist lifestyle and you're arbitraging between different countries and you're diversifying yourself around the world, you want to have redundancies, right? I've had multiple people from the military who I've worked with and who have just commented on social media who said, where we come from in our background, two options is one and one is none, okay? And so the reason I mention this is sometimes people will come to me, many times they'll come to me, and they'll be in the US or the UK or Australia, and they'll have one bank personally. Or maybe they'll have one bank personally and then the same bank for their business. And they'll say, why don't we get some diversification? And they'll say, why? Well, this is why. This among many other reasons, right? I like traditional banks. Now, I'm all for crypto. We work with a lot of folks who do crypto. I think it's fantastic. Here's an example right now. Crypto.com cards and 10x cards, both solutions that we have worked with in some capacity in the past. They were shut down. You couldn't access them. So as much as you have your crypto, you could not be going out through that specific means and converting it at the point of sale into fiat to buy your stuff. Right? You had to find another way to do that. Okay? If you had one of these other fintechs, you were out of luck. So, my perspective is who is behind your payment solution. It's cool these days to start an app and send out people glossy cards and charge them $9 to make it metal so they can act like they have an Amex Platinum card or a Centurion card. It's the democratization of entry-level luxury, and they've done a very good job of marketing that. Nothing wrong with having a metal card, by the way, but it comes sometimes at the expense of what's actually behind that. And, if you go and bank at a great bank, one of the big three banks in Singapore, for example, or if you go and bank at a stable offshore bank, whether it's in Switzerland, whether it's in the Isle of Man, even if it's in Georgia, or one of these up-and-coming places that we talk about, Armenia, the bank has a direct relationship with MasterCard, with Visa. They're not going through different providers generally. And so there's a more direct relationship. And so if you're just putting an app in front of someone else's solution, you're adding an extra layer to the equation. That may seem cool, and I understand some banks are stodgy. You can find some banks that aren't that stodgy. I have banks that have incredible apps, including in emerging markets like Armenia. And so I want that direct layer between me and the bank. Now, my concern, working with 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs is less on fees. I went to the bank the other day. I didn't have the card for that specific bank where I could take out money for free, so I used another card. I just wanted to keep moving. It cost me 12 ringgit to take out money. It's less than $3 US. Who cares? And then I went home and I compared, just to talk about it with you. what was the spread between my account, which was based in US dollars, and the Malaysian ringgit. I took out about $300 in Malaysian ringgit, and my fee was about 50 cents. So all told, I paid about $3.25 US dollars for the privilege of the spread and the ATM fee from the bank that I was using. Big deal, right? I'm not going to switch to an app where I'm adding this level of insecurity in exchange for some cool features about managing my money, which I don't think a lot of 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs need to think you know how to manage your money. You probably have another solution to do that, including one on your phone or somewhere else. Now, I'm not opposed to using these fintechs. If you really want to reduce all your costs, I'm okay with that. I'll tell you, if you get a good offshore bank or even a good domestic bank, I'm paying mere basis points when I convert money on ATM withdrawals. It's really not a lot. I know some banks really screw you, so don't use those banks. Right? That's why I talk about some of the lower fee banks in the up and coming countries. Again, Armenia and Georgia would be two good examples of that. I've got a great bank in the US that actually has free ATM withdrawals all over the world, and the spread is practically nothing. They reimburse whatever the costs are. So that's where I want you to be. If you want to have Revolut, if you want to have any of these kind of cards, go ahead, I'm all for that. But I would also have some kind of traditional bank beside that. If you have cryptocurrency, I'm all for cryptocurrency. I know some of you guys, you think it's the only thing you ever need for the rest of your life. I still want to have some cash. Keep it, in your house. Keep it on a card somewhere. Whatever level of cash that you need, have it available from someone with that direct connection so that one day you're not going to go and try and use your card and be shut down. I went on social media and I saw people who, now they can't pay any of their bills apparently because they had their entire life built around this one card. That's not diversification. And so even if you're not going overseas, even if you're not doing everything that we talk about, at least get yourself set up so you have multiple redundancies. That if one bank or one app or one solution no longer works for you, you have something else. It's what we talk about here. Don't put all your money in cash. Don't put all your money in one currency. Have some crypto, but don't put all your money in it. Have some gold. Don't put every last dime into gold bars or silver bullion. Have some real estate. Have all kinds of have some equities, maybe even some debt, and diversify yourself. Now, we'll often talk about what happens if one country goes down? What happens if the banks in one country say no ATM withdrawals? Well, you probably don't want to bank in just one country. Right? What happens if a certain payment network doesn't work? What happens if a certain currency that you hold is going down? You always want to have different options. And so this, to me, just another example of the importance of redundancies. And for me, perhaps I'm just a little contrarian, but I am not going to rely exclusively on a fintech solution for all my personal financial needs. You can find good banks. That's what we talk about. The solution for me does not have to be binary between banks that suck and an app. There is a third option. It's going where you're treated best. And that's why I think you can build redundancies, and you need to build redundancies to make sure you don't get stranded either. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.